We're getting into crystals today under the microscope or an electron microscope. I wanted to show you the beauty of it for multiple reasons, whether it's synchronistic or just the beauty of existence or nature itself. So this is a video, an image that is a composite of many different crystals. I don't know the names of them. You'll need to look into that. Now this one, if I recall correctly, ketamine crystal. So I was looking at the ketamine crystal and I noticed it looks like a star. Okay? Now not all ketamine crystals look exactly like a star, but it looks something close to it. Specifically 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe you can see something else, maybe even 6. But 5 is like, the 5-pointing star was found in here. And that showed me that ketamine is revealing the spiritual side to our universe. Because whenever you have a star, your consciousness expands. That's why it goes outwards. So it could be why ketamine gives you an out-of-body experience, according to many reports. And, if you want to know what out-of-body experiences are like, ketamine will give you that capacity. You just have to be ready for that experience. So yeah, I don't recommend ketamine more than a couple times, maybe within a 5-year span, and then maybe stop doing it. But it's definitely going to get you acquainted with the spiritual realities that are out there. The next one I want to show you guys is this one. This is diamond. The surface of diamonds. You can see clear, perfect, near perfect triangles, equilateral triangles, and you can just see the beauty of it. You can even see like this mountainous terrain beneath the triangle, And the fact that it looks like this gives you an insight into why it's so beautiful. There's just like a perfect fractalization of the lighting, perhaps, and it shows you that we have an intuitive way of picking up the beauty of nature. The next one I chose was Topaz because I'm adopting Topaz as the next stage, as some people have thrown out as a name. And I'm coining the one after Topaz as Aquamarine. And I'm going to shorten it with AQ, unless someone has a better short abbreviation. I think AQ works. But and AQ corresponds to the artificial intelligence quotient, and you just get really smart as you evolve. So I think it makes sense that you call it that, Look at over here. You see circles. And when I saw this, I was like, wait a minute. What do you have circles with the spheroid, with the different, usually 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and there's more down here. But it just struck me as like, there's something deep going on here. Maybe we should just save it. The next I saw, this is salt. This is what salt looks like under the electron microscope. And it looks like perfect pyramids. Amazing. The first thing that popped into my head was, did the Egyptians build the pyramids around a salty patch, which was the inspiration? I was like, nah, that doesn't make sense. It's just a coincidence, but obviously nothing's a coincidence. Also, the opposite side of the pyramid may be another pyramid. So it's a different shape, right? I forgot the word for it when two pyramids are connected, but there's a name for that shape. So it's not just one pyramid, it's two. But it's cool that it's a perfect pyramid in nature under the electron microscope. This is something called beryl. It looks like a bunch of teepees, right? Or even maybe trees in art, if you want to make abstract art. I just found that cool. And some of these things, you can start to understand why it affects the body the way it does, because the structure is just not compatible. And I'll give you more examples soon enough. Oh, there are names for this in the file that I closed. Oh, this is the one I was talking about. Notice how the sharpness of the caffeine crystals, right? These are caffeine crystals, likely relate to the stimulant effects that it has on the body. So if you walked on needles, you'll be like, ow, I gotta get out of here. So there's a similar thing. It's a sharp feeling when it comes to caffeine, that you just feel awake. Like when you go into cold water, you feel a sharpness in your entire body that forces you awake. It's like taking Adderall. Just in a split second, you're awake. It's great. But that's like an insight there. And then you have uric acid, which is obviously not edible, but it is sharp. And uric acid, as a reminder, comes through the urinary system, right? When you get rid of liquids. So it's a sharp thing, and depending on the contents of the urine will determine the sharpness. This one is also interesting. This one it's like such sharpness that it almost looks smooth. So this reminded me of the teeth of whales. The way it grabs fish and then it gets rid of the water through its bristles, through its teeth. And this is vitamin B. So I don't know the connection there, but it's very compact. Perhaps when you have vitamin B, it helps retain nutrients in the body. So maybe that's why you get happier, because the body eases up. It's like, oh, okay, my nutrients are not going to be destroyed. I'm containing them. So that's a possibility. It just popped into my head. Well, vitamin B12 and B6 were associated with happiness, but probably also regular B. This one, let's see, this one has a name. Okay, the name is not on here. Fine. I wanted to name them all. It was just really hard to do it at like 12 o'clock at night. Okay, so these are all different crystals. You're getting a glance of what it was. This one's amethyst. So I'm looking at this. There's a lot of ledges almost. Like things drip off of it. But it has these perfect plateaus where you feel safe, you know? If you're climbing a mountain, yeah, it's hard to get up a ledge, but once you do it, you're good. And I'm sure in the ancient days, this layout was very common to build houses, you know? Like the first days when they didn't really master the art of building. Once again, this is another diamond terrain. Okay, so you see a lot of triangles. Beautiful. Anything else? We had 1, 2, 3. So this one we studied. All right, so there you have the various crystals. So these were crystals that you can see under the electron microscope. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to know how crystals function, how crystals look, how nature itself views these things and portrays them, or how nature itself reveals us its fundamental structures, so that I can know how repeating patterns take place in our own minds and why that might be. Just once you get enough angles of different elements and why they may function the way they do, it gives you a more expansive take on why we evolve with certain patterns on a more multidimensional perspective. So this is just a good practice to become acquainted with what might be happening underneath our mind as we evolve in different ways because of different phenomenon going on.